Okay, this is probably going to be one of the quickest videos I've ever done. After my last video about sharpening the drills, I had quite a few people ask what I meant by dressing the wheel, which I didn't think was a particularly odd thing to say, but obviously a lot of people don't know what that is. And all you need is one of these. This one's just about worn out really. The wheels, there should be these wheels. They should protrude a little more, but as I say, this one's almost worn out, but it will still do. This is a little dinky one. You can get much bigger ones than this, and of course you can buy the replacement wheels. And all you do is simply run that across your moving wheel, and it flattens the wheel out, makes it nice and smooth for sharpening your drills or anything else that you need to keep flat. So I'm just going to quickly show you how that's done. Okay, so first of all, obviously, switch on the machine. Now this isn't bolted down, so I'm just going to hang on to this. And you simply run the wheels across the grinding wheel, obviously trying to keep it fairly flat. You can see all the dust that's coming off because it is actually taking the wheel off, which is what's making it flat. If I can just stop this, I'll let you have a quick look if I can zoom in. That's nice and flat now, because sometimes when you're doing little bits and pieces you get ridges and all sorts in there, which is no good obviously for sharpening your drills. So that is, you can't really see, but that is lovely and flat now, perfect for sharpening your drills. And that basically is all there is to it, which is why I didn't really want to do a video on it, but there you go. Okay, so that was how to dress your wheel. As I say, it's very, very simple. There are alternative wheel dressers. You can get ones that are just like a stick with a diamond end on them that you run across, but that one I've just used is the most common and dirt cheap. Anyway, along with that question, I also got asked by a couple of people, how do I sharpen up my snips and my side cutters, my nippers that I use for shoeing? Well, I presume that's what they mean. And this is them, all they. And this is the, if I get in there close enough, if it'll focus. I don't know if it's, yeah, I think that's just about focused. You can see, and these aren't particularly bad. There's a couple of little nibbles in there. But I keep mine sharpened. It's like everything. If you keep things sharpened regularly, you don't need to do an awful lot. There's two ways of doing it, and I'm just going to show you probably the safest way for anyone who doesn't really know what they're doing. So let's stick them in the vise and I'll show you. Okay, so we stick them in the vise because we want to get them nice and rigid, and what I'm going to do is hold it on the sort of the widest part here, so you're not damaging anything, and you want to get it quite tight. Now what you want to do is get the blade parallel with the floor, and you can bend down and have a little look and adjust it accordingly. It just makes life so much easier if it's parallel, and you just got to run your file across it really. This is what I use. It's just a nice sharp flat file. It's a very fine file, but it's really nice and sharp. Doesn't have to be that wide. And all you got to do is just gently level it up and run it across. You can feel when it's sort of sitting level. You just give it a little wiggle and you can feel when it's level. Just gently move it across. You don't need to go fast, and you sometimes will get a little burr underneath once you've gone right to the edge. You just continue that until you've got it sharp. I don't know if we can see here. It's not really very good, but that shiny bit is what I've done. It looks like there's a bit of a sort of a curve on it, but you just got to keep it level, run it across. That's all there is to it really. But you want to make sure you get it flat, otherwise you will get a bevel. You'll take off each end where they won't meet. It looks like there is that now, but I think it's an optical illusion. And that really is all there is to it. So let's give it another go. I might as well do these while I'm at it. It's very, very gentle, just bit at a time. And so this is the safest way of doing it, because you can do it with a Dremel, but you really need to know what you're doing, because you can make a real cock up if you just if you're not careful. So this is the much safer way of doing it. I'll turn it over, do exactly the same to the other side. Again, hold it on the jaw, level it up, get it parallel to the ground again. Just gently, make sure there's no burrs on there already. Gently, so you can rock it and you just can feel where it sits level. Obviously, if you've got a really knackered, worn out one, you're going to have to guess it until you get it right. Now what I tend to do is I don't move my arms, I move the whole body, not my arms. So I brace my body and rock my whole body across. It's sort of, you sort of can lock yourself. I sort of sometimes put my hand nearest my body right up against my chest and sort of lock it in and just rock my whole body through. It just tries to keep it much more level, otherwise you can sort of rock the file across the flat, and that's when you get the bits taken off each end, and it turns it into a bit of a semicircle. And that basically is it. You can see that they still just about meet in the middle, which is pretty perfect. That's what you want them just meeting. Now if you've had to do a lot of work, you'll find that there's a gap like that. Might not be much, but trust me, if it's not meeting, they don't cut very well, however sharp they are. So what you've got to do is just take a little bit off the middle there. Again, you just want a nice sharp flat file, and just take a little bit off of there. Take it off both sides, because that is what determines where they meet. See, they just close up, and when they meet, that's where your jaws finish. So you can take a little bit off of there. You don't want to take too much off, just little gnats at a time, just until they're almost touching. And that is basically it. Nice and flat. When I get too far past this, you do get in trouble. You've got a lot more work, but that's your basic day-to-day sharpening. And while I'm on, just before I go, I do have on eBay a forge blower and controller if anyone's interested. I'll put the link in the description, but you can search for my eBay page off my home page. Obviously only for the UK. You guys abroad, I'm sorry, but I ain't shipping it out there. So anyway, that's a quick one for today. Thanks for watching.